Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with works I collect compulsively, my up to top 5 choices for pieces that I have millions and millions and millions and millions of recordings of, a lot of which I've gotten rid of because I just collect them all, but I don't keep them all. But before we begin, I have to give a birthday shout out to a fan, Randy, who's turning 65 today. Happy birthday, Randy. Thank you. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching all this stuff. And since you're a compulsive watcher, I know you're a compulsive collector. So this is for you. And if you do not compulsively collect the Dvořák Wind Serenade in D minor, you may want to start. Well, you don't have to get that many because, one of the most amazing things about the Dvořák Wind Serenade is that it has quite a few crappy performances, which is kind of surprising. We tend to think of woodwind serenades as these sort of light, fluffy, charming things. And, a bunch of wind players get together and they're all very good and it always comes out well and all that. Well, it doesn't always. The principal problem with this work in getting it right is, first of all, rhythm. You got to have a really perky and fresh sense of rhythm. It begins with a march. Da 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 ya da 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 da. And then there's sonority, timbre. The Czech wind tradition is, well, it's the greatest in the world. The Czech woodwind performers and the Netherlands, the Amsterdam players, they're phenomenal. They all have character. The clarinets have that beautiful, fruity vocal quality. It's like they're speaking to you. The oboes are sweet-toned. They don't sound like snake charmers. They have this lovely, lovely pastoral sound. And, the horns are soft and woodsy. They can be brass instruments or they can be woodwind instruments, which is what you need. And the bassoons churgle and chuggle underneath this nice, full, charming sound. They just have great sound. So they blend well together, but they also have great character individually. And that's what you want in this piece. And some very, very surprising orchestras that have fabulous wind sections, but which come from other traditions of wind playing, have not done this piece well. One of the biggest failures I remember I ever heard was the Myung-Whun Chun with the Vienna Philharmonic. It was just a dark, clogged, boring, charmless performance. Really, really astonishing. And one of the best is on this list. It's the one we start with. I have 4 selections for this particular piece of performances that I go to when I want to hear it. And this amazed me. It was Neville Marriner with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. Not because they aren't excellent players, but because they had a reputation for a certain interpretive blandness. For doing, too many records of too much stuff and not ever having outstanding, wind soloists. Strings, yes, but winds, not so much. Boy, are they playing well. It's exactly the right sound. It has the perkiness. It has the rhythm. It has a wonderful bass with the double bass and contrabassoon, at the bottom. It's an incredibly well-judged performance. And one of Marriner's best records because it's coupled with an absolutely stunning string serenade as well. It's just beautiful. And I was really prepared to be underwhelmed when I first heard it, and it is a knockout. So there you go. It just goes to show, as I've always said, that there are certain people who have the idiomatic style in their bones and others who can learn it. But it can always be taught. It can always be acquired by people who care about what the music demands and are sensitive to what it demands. So that's an absolutely splendid recording. It's on Philips. Now it's Decca. Next, the Oslo wind soloists on Naxos. They made a few records for Naxos, and they're just fantastic records. Absolutely first class. A wonderful group of wind soloists full of personality, which is what the piece has to have. Then the Czech Philharmonic Wind Ensemble. Well, you might expect that, right? With Josef Vlach conducting on Supraphon. Oh, it's really, really well. If you want to hear what that kind of wind sonority is, that's the performance you want to hear. It will really sort of give you a baseline for all of the other possible performances. And I've listed all these down below, by the way, so you don't have to like write this down or anything. And last but not least, the London Symphony Orchestra with Istvan Kertész on Decca. Kertész, of course, was Hungarian. The orchestra is, of course, British. And boy, can they do Czech music. They do it wonderfully, wonderfully well. It's another performance. If you know the Kertész Dvořák symphony cycle, for example, then you know that it's a very woodwind forward group of performances. And it really helps the music. I mean, it suits the music perfectly. And so this particular piece, which is all woodwinds, except for the string bass or cello or whatever on the bottom, it really works beautifully, because they also had a very characterful wind section at this point in their careers. And Kertész just, he was always kind of a improvisational kind of guy. He just felt it and went with it, and he does. And it's just beautiful. That's also on Decca. So two of the best performances are actually from English ensembles. There are a bunch of Czech performances that are very good. There are also some Czech performances that are not so good, on account of like strange tempos and phrasing things. And one from Norway. So it's definitely an international piece. It's really the greatest wind ensemble work of the 19th century. It really is. It's the greatest wind ensemble work after Mozart's wind serenades. And it's very interesting because, Mahler conducted it with the Vienna Phil, probably better than Myung-Whun Chung did. And he said that there's more music in this work than in any dozen symphonies I could name. And he's right. It's an extraordinary masterpiece. An effortless piece of music that just seems to, it's like Athena. It hatched fully clothed from the head of Zeus. It's that kind of a piece. It just has an inevitability about it that's splendid. And the tunes are incredible. Just great. And I can't stop collecting it. Every time a new recording comes out, I grab it because I just have to hear it. I have to hear what it does and how they do. And I could have listed some other ones here, but generally speaking, the only thing I will add is that now that the Netherlands Wind Ensemble box is out, that could have been included too. The only reason I didn't is because the box wasn't out when I originally made this list. And the box is now out of print after having been around for 35 seconds. So, you could include the Netherlands Wind Ensemble in there too if you want to. But my point is that there are always going to be a few, when you collect stuff, that really speak to you. Maybe just one for many people, but for me, it's always a batch, because I like to hear the range of possibilities in a work within an idiomatic style or performance. And I know, Randy, that you feel exactly the same way. So that's the list, my friends. Happy birthday, Randy. Keep on listening and take care.